Hey, it's a beautiful spring morning, April 4th, 2018. We've just celebrated Easter, and so obviously we're going to talk about the resurrection on this week's midweek encouragement video. Seems like it's so easy today just to dismiss the Bible. In fact, it's almost laughable to believe that the Bible is actually true. The funny thing is, this isn't new. People have been doing that since the beginning. Thousands of years, generations of people have all been just laughing things off instead of actually thinking through it. I mean, take the resurrection, for instance. No one can really explain away what is literally the cornerstone of the Christian faith. Nobody can explain how this happened. I mean, think of all the evidence that was behind the resurrection. It's not like it was done in secret. Paul said that over 500 people saw Jesus alive after he died. It was well documented, well talked about. I mean, there's a missing body. How do you explain it? The Romans wouldn't have done that. Why would they want to promote this false religion that they viewed as a problem to their empire? The Pharisees wouldn't want to do it because why would they want to encourage these Christians who are breaking apart Judaism? No, clearly something happened. And to just dismiss it makes no sense. Or how about the fact that women were the first ones to see Jesus? I mean, in that culture, women had no voice. Their testimony couldn't even hold up in court. So if you're going to make something up, if you're going to pretend something happened in order to build a religion, why would you choose that way? Or what about the fact that thousands and thousands of people were convinced who lived in that day, in that culture, in that area? Acts chapter 2 says 3,000 Jews got saved by what Peter said just a few months later. I mean, if this were made up, don't you think they would have investigated it, figured it out, or were they just dumb people? I think sometimes we like to pretend it didn't happen because it's inconvenient for us. But we cannot simply ignore this great event. It's lasted the test of time. 2,000 years later, we're still talking about it. It's still one of those things that nobody can explain. So maybe, just maybe, all this talk about the Bible not being true is just convenience. All the stuff you see on the internet, maybe it's just convenience. Maybe real scholars, people who really think and don't have this agenda or an axe to grind, acknowledge that something happened. And if the resurrection's true, if it really happened, then everything else that Jesus said has to be taken seriously. Because Jesus is the one who said that he's going to rise in 3 days. That's what Jesus said. And if it really happened, then what about the other things? What about him being God? What about him paying for sin? What about him coming back again? If a major event like the resurrection happened, then how in the world can you dismiss these other things? I want to encourage you this Easter. I want to encourage you to think about things like this. Because if the resurrection is true, then everything else Jesus said really has to be taken seriously. And that includes what that means for you. I'll see you next week.